All right, good morning. Let me ask you a question. How many restaurants are in the United States? The NRA says by the end of this year, there will be 1 million restaurants open and operating in the United States. Remember last night when Jeremy said, what if you had a competitor that you knew 24/7 was gunning for you, trying to put you out of business? You do. You've got 1 million of them. 1 million of them. How many of them fail? 25% in the first year, 50% in the first 3 years. You folks are in this room because you're probably beating the odds already. And as an industry, fast casual is beating the odds dramatically. Fast casual has grown 600% in the last 15 years, while the rest of the restaurant industry is flat. There's one simple strategy that you as an industry have been using to cause that performance. There's one simple strategy that I teach to CEOs, whether they're coming to a retreat or I'm at a franchise convention, and I'm going to give you this. It's 10 words. And you're going to wonder, should I write this down? It sounds too simple to be true. 10 words that can change the course of your business. In fact, I would venture to say, so Jeremy last night gave us an amazing hour-long presentation. I'm going to sum up everything he said, his entire presentation, in 10 words. In 10 words, not just 90 seconds. You've got to find a way to give your customers more of what they want and less of what they don't. Now, it seems super obvious. Yeah, more of what they want and less of what they don't. Let me prove it to you how powerful this is. When we talked about Blockbuster and Netflix, what did you not like about Blockbuster? You didn't like the fact that you had to drive to the store. Then when you got to the store, they were out of movies. And then when you forgot to take the movie back, they gave you late fees. Didn't like it, didn't like it, didn't like it. Netflix said, what if we just mailed you the DVDs right to your house, let them keep you as long as you darn well want, and we have every movie in stock all the time. More of what you want, less of what you don't. Think about fast casual as an industry. What don't you like about casual dining? I don't like disengaged servers. I don't like having to give disengaged servers tips. I don't like having to wait for my check or wait for my water to get filled. I don't like food that I know was frozen and put into a microwave. I don't like uninspired environments. Think about fast casual. Think about what you've done. Well, we'll make it faster with better food in a great environment, and we'll just take the service out of the equation. We'll let you self-serve a lot of your stuff and get your water whenever you want. More of what you want and less of what you don't. The trick is that each one of you individually has got 1 million people following you and trying to take you out of business. You have to do this every single day in your restaurants, in your concepts. We're doing it as an industry, but the question is, are you doing it on the front lines? The only way you're able to do it is by getting insights from the front lines from your customers. And if you do, and you do this well, there's dollars to be had here, margin and profit. Who's arguably the best competitor in all of fast casual? Chipotle. Chipotle. Anyone want to guess the average check for an individual person at Chipotle versus the average check for an individual person at Applebee's? $11.30 versus $12.42. Here's the problem. If you give people a bunch of stuff they don't want, they subtract from your value equation. And you give them a bunch of stuff that they do, they add to your value equation. You give me bad service, I deduct. You make me have to pay a tip, I deduct. You make me wait for my water, I deduct. You give me uninspired food, I deduct. With Chipotle, they're adding it back, adding it back. They're going to eventually cross the barrier and think about what that means for the business model. The business model is dramatically different from the build-out, from the kitchen, from the service model. That's why they're making so much money and the stock price continues to go up. So your brand. Let me ask you a question about your brand. Where is your brand built? Where is your brand built? Is it built in the marketing department at corporate? No? Where is it built? Is your brand built on the front lines every day with every transaction in your restaurants? Yes, it is. So we think that our brands are built on the front lines. That's where those transactions, those interactions are where our brand is built. Huge impact on the front lines. So therefore, we pay our people on the front lines the most, right? No. We pay them the least. See a disconnect here? Biggest impact Lowest paid people. I'm going to give you 2 ideas about your frontline people. Number 1, you want to have better frontline people, set higher expectations. The challenge of keeping the best people is that A players don't like to be around B players or C players or D players. And if you bring in people because you say something like, that's all I can afford, your A players are going to go somewhere else. Probably to Starbucks or Chipotle or Panera or somewhere that they are inspired to work. I'm going to show you something right now that will... Are any of you hiring millennials on the front lines? Raise your hand if you're hiring millennials on the front lines. Yeah, we all are. Do any of you want millennials to eat in your restaurant? Yeah, we all do. In 10 years, it's going to be 75% of the workforce. I'm going to show you one thing about millennials that will change the way that you think about your restaurant. 92% of millennials believe business success should be measured by more than just profit. What are you doing in your concept that allows them to experience this, either as a customer or as one of your employees? You heard of food with integrity? There's something to that. What are you doing that allows them to have this experience in your restaurant? What do you stand for? What are your values? And do your employees all the way to the front lines know? And if you don't know, they certainly don't know. So Gerry, what is this restaurant formula thing that you created? I spoke to thousands of restaurant owners over the last 5 years, a lot of independents, executives, turnaround specialists, CEOs, you name it, to try to diagnose what do the most successful restaurants do day in and day out that has them be successful. And the outcome of that was the restaurant formula. So if you were to come to one of my sessions, you get all of the restaurant formula, but today you only get 6 minutes of it. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you the best nugget that people love the most when I come to their franchise convention, when they come to my retreat. They say, Gerry, this is the most powerful thing ever, and you're about to get it. Here's what you need to open a restaurant. At least this is what people think. You need a type, right? And a type is fast food, fast casual, fine dining, casual dining. And then you need a category. We got to have burgers, pizza, Mexican, right? You got a type and you got a category. Fast casual, Mexican, you got Chipotle. Fast casual, burgers, you got Smash Burger, right? And if you open up nothing but a type and a category, you've got a commodity. Nobody wants to eat at your restaurant, and don't forget you got 1 million competitors out there. Nobody wants to eat there, so you need the next step. You need to finish the sentence. And if you haven't finished this sentence in the room, I want to challenge you to think about this. What you need is what I'm going to call something super simple, a big idea. What's the big idea? If you're going to have fast casual burgers, you got to have a big idea. For Smash Burger, you're going to meet Tom here in a minute. The big idea is smash it. We smash it, and what he's going to tell you is that's going to sear in the flavor. That's the big idea. Now, I used to be the VP of marketing at Red Robin. We opened up Red Robin Burger Works. What I would tell you is, no, the big idea is flame grilled. If you look at the Red Robin Burger Works logo, it's got a flame right on it because I'm trying to outcompete Smash Burger. But I'm going to say flames give you more flavor, and he's going to say smashing gives you more. It doesn't matter which is true. It matters which the consumer is going to believe, and it matters, do you have a big idea, or are you just a type in a category? Because a type and category is not going to succeed over the next 10 years. And here's the big thing that people really love. It's called, what's your because? Here's the thing about the power of the word because. In the early 1980s, there was this woman named Ellen Langer. She was the first ever female tenured professor at Harvard. She's a sociologist. And she did this study about the power of the word because. And here's how she did it. Back in the day, there would be Xerox machines in the library at the university. And people would walk up and have to wait in line to use the Xerox machine. She said, okay, here's what we're going to do. Try to cut in front of the line. And we're going to say different things to see which things will influence people to do what you want them to do. Read that, influence them to eat at your restaurant, right? So she walked up, and the student first walked up and said, excuse me, I have 5 pages. May I use the Xerox machine? 60% of the time, they let the student cut in front of the line. She said, okay, insert the word because, and let's see what happens. So they had the student walk up and say, may I use the Xerox machine because I'm in a rush? 93% of the time, they let him cut in line. Now, you're a bunch of smart people. You're paying attention. You're saying, yeah, but they gave him a really good reason. She said, okay, fine. Walk up and say something nonsensical. So she had him walk up and say this. May I use the Xerox machine because I need to make copies? 92% of the time, they let the people cut in line. Now, why does that happen? We are bombarded with between 500 and 3,000 advertising messages every day. Our brains are programmed to not pay attention to what your marketing department wants me to pay attention to. Anything that sounds like marketing fluff, I don't listen to it. I don't care, and I have a million other options, by the way. So let me give you an example of how this works in practice. What's the slogan for Papa John's Pizza? Better ingredients, better pizza. Better pizza is the big idea. The number 3, the big idea. Better ingredients is the because. Now, if I opened up a pizza place and said, Gerry's Pizza, come eat our pizza. Our pizza's better. Does that sound like compelling or does that sound like fluff? It sounds like fluff. And we need to make sure that everyone in the room isn't out there talking about something to your customers that sounds like fluff. They got sued by Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut said, you can't say your pizza's better than ours. They got sued by tiny little startup Papa John's, sued by the $9 billion at the time. Pizza Hut said, you can't say that. Papa John's won the lawsuit because they use fresh sliced tomatoes and filtered water. I didn't say your because had to be that good. I'm saying you should have one. Papa John's built a $3 billion pizza brand based on a simple because, having the reason, the big idea in what they do day in and day out. It makes what you do more believable. It makes me believe in the thing that you're saying. Smash burger. I believe it's going to taste better. It's got smash right in the name. It's a powerful because. And here's the important piece of what it does. It makes what you say about your restaurant more repeatable. Do you want word of mouth for your restaurant? Do you want people to share it on social media? If you don't know what your because is, your customers certainly don't know. And who else doesn't know? Your employees don't know. If you want to build a big, national, powerful restaurant brand, you need to have your big idea and your because have clarity all the way to the front lines with those A players that you're going to hire, and it's got to make a difference beyond just making profit for you. If you want to make a big difference and have a big brand, have a big idea, have a big outcome and a big because that generates interest all the way to the front lines and all the way to social media. I'm Gerry O'Brion. If you want to actually get a copy of the Restaurant Formula Framework so you can actually put all the other elements of it that you didn't get to see in work in your business, give me a business card at the end of the 4 session. Give me your business card and I will email you the actual framework so you can put it to work in your business. Thank you very much.